Hello and welcome to the Daily Hobbyist. Today I'm going to be building a AMD computer for my dad for flight sim and racing sim and different things like that. The interesting thing with this computer build is we have a 2080 Ti right behind the cat to the right. I got this graphics card off Craigslist, and usually I don't do that, but I asked the guy if he could test it, and he tested it in front of me, and it worked fine. So it was a good deal for $600 when they're usually a few months ago $1,200. Just to the left of that is a 850 watt power supply from Corsair, fully modular, and I really thought it was a good power supply in general. Sitting on top of that is the Ryzen 3600 AMD processor. I think it's an awesome processor, really good. Also, I was able to get that for $125, brand new, unopened. So, I also have a Corsair Vengeance Pro RGB 3200 MHz RAM kit and a X570 Plus Tough Gaming Asus motherboard with Wi-Fi. I found the SanDisk M.2 or NVMe hard drive 1TB at Best Buy, and it was a really good price, $100. And last was the Corsair 4000D Airflow case.
So the plan is we're probably gonna have me, my brother, and my dad all building this.
So here we have the Ryzen 3600. When installing this processor, you're going to look for the gold triangle in the corner of the processor right there. That is going to be lining up with a triangle in the bottom of the processor right there. That triangle and the gold triangle will line up. Another way you can tell is there is actually a square right there of the pins missing, and there will be a square of the pins missing there. That's a few ways to know that you're doing it right, and it will just gently fall in. You don't need to push at all. You put the lever down and you are good to go. I am removing the heatsink from the M.2 place, or the NVMe where you put the hard drive. And this is mainly for just to dissipate heat as the NVMe is in there, because it will create heat. They're cool, they're good. Some NVMEs actually come with their own, and it's really up to you if you want to use this one, or if you have a Corsair one comes with its own. They're really good and they look good too, so it's not a big deal. Right here, I am showing you that there's a few spots that you can put depending on the length of the M.2, where you can put a screw in to actually tighten everything down. And all you do to put these in is you gently put it in at a 45-degree angle. It goes in and then push it down. It's pretty simple and they're easy to put in. And that's what one of the screws will look like when you put it in. It's very simple. It has a stud on one end and it's threaded on the other. So you're going to install that, put the NVMe in, and then you're going to just push it down and put the screw in. And once that's in, you put the heatsink on and you're good to go. I'm going to be putting the Corsair Vengeance Pro into the motherboard now. And I really like these. And I'm going to be putting them into the light gray slots. You want to go one slot, the furthest one away from the CPU, and then a space, and then the next slot in. So it's kind of simple, but not really. I always have to kind of double check, but that's just a good rule of thumb. Furthest one out, space, and then put the next one in the next slot. And you're basically going to just push them in. They shouldn't be too hard. push them in until you feel a click, and you don't need to do anything else. Just push it in, click, done. Then you move on to the next one. They're really easy. It's not something you need to overcomplicate at all. So this cooler came with the Ryzen 3600. It is a good cooler. It will do everything you need it to do as long as you're not overclocking and things like that. For this cooler, what you'll need to do is remove the 4 screws that are holding on that mounting bracket, those 2 mounting brackets, those 4 screws. Once you remove those, then you're going to put the cooler on and find a placement that you like. That I'm just going to be plugging in the connector first. Find a placement you like, and then you're just going to screw them into the exact same holes you took the other screws out of.
So a lot of times what I would end up doing is zip tying this little bunch of wires here together. I don't have a zip tie on me right now, but when I open up this case, there might be some zip ties in there that I'll check for. This is what came with the case. We do have some zip ties, that's what I was looking for. And I make sure it is tight.
Or zip tying the wires from the
So
cooler.
what we're going to do is we're going to pull this tight so it looks nice and good. And then I'm not proper, get some wire cutters if you can. Okay. That's good. Good. Grab your I/O shield and put it in, because if you forget to do this later on, you're going to have to pull it all apart to put this back in. The I/O shield is what goes to shield off this when it's in the computer. So then the I/O shield, you'll see this opening right here. This is where you're going to want to put it. You'll have to make sure what's straight, what's up, and what's down. And to do that, I just imagine, okay, the motherboard it's gonna go into the case like this. So then I am going to imagine that this is top. So I'm gonna line that up and just move this over here, and you're good to go. You're gonna push in there, push in all the corners, and get it just in. And that's the I/O shield. When you're done,
It should look like that.
I'm not a huge fan of fan placement.
Pun intended.
Of this fan here. There's only 2 fans for this case. That's something that you may want to
Upgrade.
look into. If you're getting this case, you may want to get more fans.
Well, never enough cooling. Okay.
Yeah, or if you're getting an AIO, you're probably good because they're gonna have fans attached to that. But this, I'm probably gonna move this fan up front where there's a dust filter, have 2 sucking, and just let the rest of the air that comes through the computer push out through all the holes and gaps in the computer. We're going to be putting the motherboard into the case. So we're going to find the appropriate screws for that. That one we're going to use. So there's going to be a lot of, so like you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 places for these screws. We're going to set it in. Line it up with your I/O shield. And actually, this is not a screw. This is actually a pin. This one right here is a pin to help you guide you where the motherboard goes.
That just guided you right there.
Just guided me right there.
Right there.
So I'm connecting these fans to the fan headers. There's going to be one there and one there. All this right here, this I/O. So there's a power button, USB Type-C, mic, headphones, and reset. Those are all these wires. I'm going to take the wires. There's going to be a bunch of little ones. I'm going to feed these right through here and pull these through, okay? There's this connector right here that I'm gonna feed to the side and pull it through. And then there's one more, which is, where is it? It's right here. It literally says audio on it, and I'm gonna feed it over here, okay? Which literally goes right there. And then these are your power switch, it says right there, your reset switch, and then your power positive, and for the LEDs, and the negative. So we're gonna do the power on the LED first. So it looks like on this one, power positive, and it will be completely, you see right here, it's gonna list them all right there. So I'm gonna just follow this and plug them in according to how they had them, which in my case is gonna go power LED positive in the top left corner, then power LED negative right next to that, and then I'm gonna go, the reset switch will be on the bottom left corner, number 3 and 4, and then I'm gonna do,
Which one point?
right there, this one. And I'm gonna do this one right above it for this case. And then I'm gonna pull these wires through to make it look a little nicer. So those are all the connections. Unfortunately, this case does not, or this motherboard did not come with the Type-C connector right here. So I won't be able to plug that in.
Why do they have it on it?
Some motherboards come with it, some do not. So what we did on Trip's case,
So this connection is there, but it doesn't work.
it will be not working.
Why do they even have it in there?
Some motherboards accept
It's
it.
not wired, you're saying?
It's wired up right here,
Oh.
but my motherboard.
Oh, your
doesn't
motherboard doesn't have a hookup for it.
accept it. Yeah. So on Trip's case, same thing happened. What we ended up doing is electrical tape, and it camouflaged it really nice.
Okay. So this,
It's here.
the USB does not, the board doesn't have a hookup for this, but you can go directly to the board and
Right here, and it's
has
there's
the
a
board
connector.
itself, but it doesn't have a connector. The wire goes from the base, but not to the board. The board doesn't have a hookup for this, but it is a direct hookup. So you do have it.
Yeah.
You just have to hook into here. Okay.
So this is the power supply. We got the 850 from the Corsair. That's not yours. The reason I did that is just so if you ever wanted to upgrade, it should be good. It's also 80 plus gold rated, so it's really good efficiency and it's gonna not fry your system.
What's the 80? You can get a 60 or something?
Here I am editing this video, and my dad brought up something that was interesting. He asked, what does kind of 80 plus mean? I didn't really have an answer for him. I didn't know what it meant, but I did a quick search, and turns out the 80 plus program, it's a program, and it tested the power supply efficiency from 20%, 50%, and 100% loads. And initially, the power supplies only needed to be 80% efficient. But over time, it turned into bronze, silver, gold, and platinum because they just became more and more efficient. So right there, it's from Corsair's website. It's interesting. I'm not gonna go over all of it, but just so you know, it's the 80 plus program, and that's why they call it 80 plus. Bronze, silver, gold, platinum. So basically, if you don't get one that's an 80 plus, probably stay away from it. You know, they have had this certification for a long time, and if it can't handle 80 plus, then you have an issue on your hands. So I'm gonna then push this power supply in here, and then we'll hook it up. It's a little tight fit, but there we go, we got it in.
So we're taking these wires.
Taking the 24 pin, and I'm gonna flip it around and plug it in.
And it says, well, that's the only place 24 pin probably plugs in.
Yeah. Maybe that one I'm gonna come in to this side. And you're going to line this up, open that,
Push down to open it.
and you're going to line it up, and I'm going to slide in right there. And then I'm going to just clip it in. And it feels like it's already in. It wasn't much effort at all. I'm going to grab that strip and slide it through. And there's going to be two of them, right? And these actually clip together. Figure out how to do it. One goes in and push it in. There you go. And so there, we're gonna just have it kind of come down like that. And then, now that we're at this point, we're pretty much done, and all we need to do now is
Clean up the back.
clean up the back and run these wires to where they look good. Rub it, say, we're good.
All right. There you go. The complete unit. There we are.
Okay, and turn it on.
There's some light.
Yeah. And then turn the power button on. Power button.
Was there 2 on switches or something?
So that's just the main.
That's the main.
That's always on.
Okay. That's the main. So that's like the main breaker.